and welcome to Lakewood's 2026 State of the City presentation. I'm Lorraine Anthony, the city's Community Relations Manager. I'm so pleased to join the members of Rotary Club of Lakewood in this annual review and forecast of our city. Our program begins with a viewing of the State of the City video, so please enjoy.
There were herds of fat cattle grazing in green pastures. And there were beans, sugar beets, and alfalfa.
Once open land with fields of lima beans in the late 1940s,
Strange things were happening all around.
to the 1950s,
The whole earth had begun to move.
when Lakewood transformed into a city
They called it Lakewood. It became world famous. People came from everywhere. They fell in love with Lakewood.
even as times change. Today, that sentiment of community holds true. In 2025, the Lakewood City Council stayed focused on priorities like public safety, fiscal stability, and a well-maintained city infrastructure.
Likewise, the City of Lakewood relies on a team of dedicated employees to keep the city running 24/7, from recreation to public works, water resources to public safety. As the saying goes, teamwork makes the, you know.
Jackie Cochran works in code enforcement, and she's out in the community each day.
Now, I mean, it's solid, it's sturdy, it's painted. Code enforcement is a way for cities to make sure the community standards are met. And it's also a way for us to reduce the possibility of blight or blighted conditions, graffiti, or trash dumped on the sidewalk, or overgrown vegetation, those kind of things. Hey, Charles, I was looking for that information about the owner on Pioneer.
On any given day, the code enforcement team comes together to weigh in on cases and problem solve.
We share ideas. That looks like a violation.
Have you tried talking to the owner yet?
I enjoy working with those guys, and it's a good atmosphere to be in. This community fosters that kind of spirit. It's in the residents and it's also in the employees. I'm Jackie, working hard to preserve Lakewood's neighborhoods.
2025 was a time to thrive with new businesses and eateries all around the city.
On Candlewood, the doors of Nothing Bundt Cakes opened to satisfy everyone's sweet tooth. And Flame Broiler celebrated their grand reopening. Lakewood also stepped up its coffee and beverage game with the grand opening of Ziggy's Coffee. Patrons can enjoy a cup of coffee or a smoothie from a nice balcony view.
Lakewood welcomed Fifth Avenue Bagelry and Espresso, a one-stop shop for coffee, tea, bagels, and sandwiches. For those on the go, Cassidy's Corner Cafe opened a drive-through location on Woodruff and South Street.
Frisco's Car Hop rolled into Lakewood, adding even more variety and fun. Big Blue Swim on Candlewood also opened in 2025 and has been a splashing success, teaching kids confidence and swim safety.
And finally, Lakewood Center is getting a new lease on life with the sale of the mall to Pacific Retail Capital.
An idea or leap of faith? Businesses and opportunities in Lakewood are growing and succeeding.
Community Services Specialist Alyssa Mejia has worked in most park facilities and at many special events like Volunteer Day and the Pan Am Fiesta. But the Youth Center at Del Valle Park is her home base.
Lakewood Youth Center, this is Alyssa. I love working with the teens especially. Just being able to be with them every day is what makes me happy. I think right now we live in an age where the kids are obsessed with being online and being on their TVs or computers. So when the teens come in, I always try to make sure that they know the staff here offer a really safe environment for them. Once they really get comfortable with us, they actually want to engage with us. Being able to build that relationship with the kids is pretty much my favorite part of my job. My name is Alyssa and I enjoy working with Lakewood kids.
The Recreation and Community Services Department delighted Lakewood residents with activities and events that collectively attracted over 70,000 attendees. Earthwalk, the Pan Am Fiesta, the Block Party, and 8 summer concerts, which brought out record crowds, by the way. Other traditional gatherings included the Patriot Day ceremony, Festival, Lollipop Lane, and of course, Lakewood's tree lighting ceremony.
His name is Hazelnut.
Family events like Funtastic Family Nights, and lots of youth sports. Lakewood living up to the sports town traditions that remain part of the city's fabric.
The Lakewood Equestrian Center began a new chapter. The transition of operations and maintenance to a new long-term lessee ensures that equestrian programs will continue.
And we have our water meter here that we normally collect the information off that.
As a pump station operator, Jason Hammer monitors water quality at different well sites throughout the city.
We just kind of walk the site and checking for any unusual sounds, sights, or smells. We're checking for leaks, we're checking the injection coils, and we're doing a couple little water quality samples here. Checking temperatures and chlorine residuals, and even inspecting the top of the tanks or something. In my position, a lot of the part of the day is spent working alone, but if there's anything that needs team effort, one quick call and any of my coworkers are willing to lend a helping hand. We kind of bounce off of each other of new ideas and help each other all the time. We all get along real good. I'm Jason, Lakewood Water Resources at your service.
The Lakewood Water Resources Department runs deep with history since 1959, and Lakewood continues to make improvements in system efficiency and equipment maintenance. The Water Department completed design plans to re-drill a new water well at Candlewood Street and Downey Avenue. Construction has begun for a high-capacity well capable of producing over 3 million gallons of water per day, enhancing the city's overall water-producing efforts to support future needs.
We know we got a little bit of overhangs here. We got some line clearance issues.
Trees and hardscape supervisor Tim Hunt and his team are tasked with making sure sidewalks and streets and Lakewood's many trees are maintained.
We have a count of about 25,000 trees throughout the city right now, so there's a lot that goes into it. We maintain probably 3,000 to 4,000 service requests a year for trims, removals, replant services. Another big thing is our hardscape, so it would be our curb and gutter, sidewalk, and all of our hardscape throughout the city. And we've also taken over the potholing and asphalt throughout the city in some areas. We're a pretty tight-knit family in our department, and me coming through the ranks of the tree department, I loved it. Our community really does appreciate it, and you can see that by when we go out to trim, people really look forward to seeing us. They really appreciate what we do, and we try our best to work with them and make everybody throughout the city happy. My name's Tim. I maintain your urban forest and keep your sidewalks safe throughout the city.
From pipes to pavement, street corners to city sidewalks, all day and all night, The behind the scenes of Public Works prove that Lakewood is future ready thanks to the implementation of a $60 million capital improvement plan for 2025-2026. Street paving took place in the overnight hours at the intersection of Lakewood Boulevard and South Street, as well as Lakewood Boulevard and Candlewood.
As for city sidewalks, it was a record year, with a goal to repair every damaged sidewalk in the city, from leveling surfaces to eliminating tripping hazards. Now Lakewood can walk the talk when it comes to having safe sidewalks.
PSO Diego Ruiz is a member of Lakewood's public safety team, providing support to deputy sheriffs at the Lakewood station.
Meaning that we finished with the call. I like to think of ourselves as the bridge between the Lakewood Sheriff Station as well as the city of Lakewood. We want to make sure that the city, feels our presence. How's it going, sir? We have tons of events each year. We have National Night Out, for example, where you'll see us, you'll see a couple of the Lakewood Sheriff Special Assignment Officers there. Really just events for the community, really to build that connection with them and to make everybody feel safe. Our team's amazing. I like to say we're an asset to not only the city and the sheriff station, but to each other. If any one of us is busy, we'll handle each other's calls, help out where we can. It's an absolute privilege to be able to work for the city and really serve the people. We want our presence to be felt, and more than anything, we appreciate Lakewood. I'm Public Safety Officer Ruiz, and I'm here to help make the city a safer place.
Lakewood's Public Safety Department hosted many family outreach events throughout the year. National Night Out, the Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness Expo, along with gatherings that gave some one-on-one time with sheriff's deputies. Outreach services to local homeless individuals remain a priority in the city. Homeless Services liaisons, along with Lakewood deputy sheriffs, continue to work with homeless individuals in the city to transition them to a life off the streets. Private security guard patrols from Southwest Patrol have served as a supplemental program 7 days a week since 2022, providing highly visible patrols in residential neighborhoods, shopping centers, and around parks and schools. In 2025, the City Council increased the program from 4 to 6 guards daily, with some patrols during daytime.
Another year and another balanced budget. The city successfully set aside funding for short-term and long-term obligations. And the combination of Measure L funds, federal, county, and state grant funding continue to keep Lakewood fiscally sound. Residents can always count on Lakewood's legendary customer service, and it's personal, literally. When you call the city of Lakewood, you're greeted by a real person, not an automated answering system.
Okay, yeah, we would take that report in public information.
In 2025, more than 15,000 service requests were successfully handled by the professional customer service team. The Lakewood community knows how to do life together. And part of that is remembering those who made this city what it is today, strong and caring. In 2025, 4 honorees were inducted into the Legends of Lakewood program. Project Shepherd, an organization known for its neighbor helping neighbor outreach. Kirk Reel, a longtime resident and volunteer with many community groups. Dave Rada, a pioneer in Lakewood youth sports. And Dennis Lander, a Vietnam veteran who wrote the touching poem, The Boys of Del Val Park, which is displayed at the Veterans Memorial Plaza.
As Lakewood celebrates the heroes of the past, the city will continue its progress into the future. The Lakewood Leadership Academy is one way to contribute to Lakewood's ongoing success. Members took part in 9 monthly sessions, learning management skills, the ins and outs of local government, and what it takes to serve as a civic leader in this great city, whether it's city council meetings, joining service clubs, or volunteering. There is no I in Lakewood. The city as new as tomorrow will uphold the vision of strength and unity for generations to come.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Valerie Frost, the president of the Rotary Club of Lakewood. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank City TV for a wonderful video. And at this time, I have the great pleasure of introducing 3 members for our panel this afternoon. First, let me welcome up Lakewood's City Manager, Thaddeus McCormick. Now, let's welcome to the stage the Director of Community Development, Aldo Cervantes. And to serve as our MC this afternoon, please welcome Mayor Cassandra Chase.
All right. Thank you, everyone. As Valerie mentioned, this is the annual meeting of the Rotary Club of Lakewood. And I'll add to that and welcome you to this meeting of the Lakewood City Council. Consider this a community double feature. All of my colleagues on City Council are here, and we are delighted to welcome you to the 2026 edition of the State of the City. It is a Lakewood tradition that we pause each year to reflect on the goals we've achieved and to look ahead at the goals our city has in the months to come. 2025 gave us plenty of reasons to celebrate our 71st year. The statistics tell part of the story, and the projects tell another. But what I want to lift up today is something the data cannot capture: the generosity, the care, and the way this community has shown up for each other again and again in times that have asked a lot of us. Lakewood thrives when business leaders, city officials, city staff, and members of our community share a vision of what Lakewood can be. Whether it is our dedicated city staff, my colleagues on City Council, or the hundreds of volunteers and nonprofit workers who pour into the city every single day. We are incredibly fortunate to have so many willing hands building a more successful, more welcoming community together. Lakewood was built on a promise: safety, comfort, and opportunity. History tells us that promise was not extended to everyone who wanted to be part of this community. As we move toward our 75th year with a clear vision for who we are becoming, that history is not lost on me. And I believe it's not lost on this community either. Our mission says everyone. Our work is to mean it. In 2024, the council adopted a mission for Lakewood, a mission that bears repeating today. As a city, we seek to be a welcoming and thriving community where everyone can live, work, and play in a safe and healthy environment. That word everyone carries real weight. When Lakewood celebrates the 250th anniversary of the United States this July, I hope we pause to reflect on both the distance we have traveled as a nation and the work still ahead to make the promises of America real for every person who calls this country home. Over the past several months, at our Matcha with the Mayor gatherings, I have had the privilege of hearing directly from so many Lakewood residents. They have shared their concerns and their aspirations. Time and time again, they have told me that they value a strong community, a connected community, and a community that stands together. Those conversations remind me of what is possible when we make space to truly hear one another. Every voice adds something to the picture of who we are and who we are becoming. That is what grounds me as your mayor. Public safety is not just a priority. It is a core value, a community commitment, a basic human right. Safety is the foundation of our shared life together. When people feel secure, everything else becomes possible. When people feel safe, they show up, they gather, they invest in their neighbors and their local businesses and the fabric of this community. Every resident of Lakewood, no matter where they come from or where they call home in this city, deserves that freedom. That is why we listen, and that is why we act. I am pleased to share that serious crimes in Lakewood declined significantly last year. That progress reflects the dedication of our sheriff's deputies and the strength of our community that looks out for one another. Programs like our public safety officers, the Sky Night helicopter program, and the all-volunteer neighborhood watch are all part of how we sustain that progress together. We are currently funding every available hour of deputy sheriff patrol time that LA County can provide. We are at the absolute limit of what the county will make available because Lakewood residents deserve a visible, responsive, and professional presence in our neighborhoods. Alongside that, our community prosecutor works with our public safety department and sheriff's personnel to address gang activity, nuisance properties, and other challenges that affect the day-to-day quality of life for our neighbors. Because safe neighborhoods are livable neighborhoods. On the technology front, I can share that the city received a $1 million grant from Congressman Robert Garcia to expand our security camera infrastructure. We have had license plate reader cameras near the mall for nearly 20 years, and we currently have a pilot program to expand that coverage. I recognize that this work lives at the intersection of protection and privacy, two values our community holds equally. Our commitment is to move forward responsibly, with transparency, and within the strong standards Lakewood residents expect and deserve. I also want to speak directly about something that has weighed on many of our neighbors. The issues surrounding federal immigration enforcement have created fear and confusion in our communities across our country. Our Lakewood Sheriff's deputies have no role in federal immigration enforcement. Their role is keeping our community safe, and they do so with professionalism, rigorous training, and a full commitment to the constitutional rights of every Lakewood resident. Your city council sees this distinction clearly and stands firmly behind local law enforcement that upholds the rights of all people in our city. Every resident deserves to feel safe, and that belief does not come with exceptions. Every resident should feel a deep sense of security when they step outside their front door, whether they are taking a morning walk, watching their children play, or simply enjoying the day. That sense of safety also sustains local prosperity. When people feel secure, they shop, they dine, and invest in this community, keeping Lakewood's small businesses healthy and our neighborhoods vibrant. Keeping Lakewood safe is a shared responsibility, and it is one we honor together. Through the Lakewood Leadership Academy, we are growing civic leaders from within our own community. Graduates are already deepening the roots of community stewardship in our city, building lasting friendships and professional connections, stepping into service organizations, launching initiatives of their own, and taking their seats at the table as city and county commissioners. They are proof that when we invest in people, Lakewood grows stronger from the inside out. In honor of Women's History Month, the third annual Lead Her Lakewood Women's Success and Empowerment Gathering returns next week. Lead Her Lakewood is a space where women come together to grow, connect, and step more fully into their power as community leaders. That kind of dedication to people benefits all of us. Together, these programs show what becomes possible when we make a commitment to leadership development, cultivating informed, engaged residents who contribute meaningfully to the life of the city for years to come. There is so much to celebrate in the life of this city. From our parks to our community centers to our streets, we have been making meaningful improvements to the public spaces that serve our residents every single day. 3 projects that began in 2025 are moving towards completion in 2026. The Weingart Senior Center is beloved by generations of Lakewood residents. In the coming months, the center will be remodeled and modernized with a comprehensive interior and exterior refresh focused on accessibility, safety, and comfort. Upgrades will include new HVAC, ADA improvements, new hearing loop installation, and refreshed landscaping that creates a more welcoming environment for everyone who walks through the doors. Our seniors are currently enjoying their programs and activities at Mayfair Park while this work is underway. Our deep thanks go to Senator Lina Gonzalez and Congresswoman Nanette Barrigan for their support in funding this work. In Eastern Lakewood, the 45-year-old Palms Park Community Building will undergo substantial rehabilitation to address aging infrastructure, including its interior facade, roofing, electrical, and HVAC systems. The project also includes a 1,200 square foot expansion, adding a dedicated teen room, an accessible restroom, and additional storage. Many thanks go to former California Assembly member and Speaker Anthony Rendon and Congressman Robert Garcia for making this possible. We are also developing an entirely new town square and civic plaza at the corner of Clark and Delamo Boulevard. This plaza will give outdoor civic events like the holiday tree lighting ceremony and Patriot Day observances a spectacular new venue, and it will also serve as a gathering place for community life for decades and generations to come. We are completing renovations to the playground at Cherry Cove Park and the school aid structure at Bloomfield Park. Both sites will feature a new equipment and rubberized safety surfacing, creating spaces that are safer, more accessible, and more alive for the children who will grow up playing there. And as we build for the next generation, we are also honoring the ones who came before, because in Lakewood, our parks have always been more than green spaces. They have been where childhood happened, where friendships were forged, where we learned to be brave, to fall down, and to get back up. And for many of us, where we earned our first degree slide burns. Today, I am thrilled to share something that blends our future with the memories that made us. As part of these park upgrades, we are unveiling 3 retro playground designs inspired by iconic pieces of equipment that once stood in 3 of our beloved parks, including one of the 2 parks we just discussed. These designs celebrate the generations of children who grew up climbing, sliding, spinning, and imagining in a Lakewood park. Okay, so if you remember Giganta at Boyer Park, raise your hand. I see you. That towering metal slide that may as well have been a frying pan in July. On hot days, you did not just go down the slide, you committed. You braved the heat and earned your badge of courage, or you stood at the top reconsidering every decision that brought you to that moment. And yet every single time, we loved it. Or maybe you remember climbing into the giant pumpkin carriage at San Martin Park and letting yourself believe just for a moment that you were headed somewhere magical. And then there was the rocket ship at Bloomfield Park. Every kid who made it to the top knows the feeling. The whole world opened up. The sky was yours. You were not 7 years old anymore. You were an astronaut with a mission. And to infinity and beyond was not just something you said, it was somewhere you fully intended to go. Those pieces of equipment may be gone, but the memories are very much alive. So we have brought them back as throwback designs. You will find them on shirts, mugs, stickers, and totes on our city merchandise website, a fun way to celebrate Lakewood pride and the playground legends that shaped our childhoods. Because today is special, we wanted you to be part of the launch. Every attendee will receive a commemorative tote featuring one of these retro designs, along with a sticker to show off your playground loyalty. You can grab your free sticker at the merch display after the event. And we will also be raffling off several shirts featuring these iconic pieces, so a few lucky winners can literally wear their childhood memories home. As we reinvest in our parks for the next generation, it felt right to honor the ones who came before. The kids who climbed too high, slid too fast, spun too long, and went home when the streetlights came on. Maybe you were one of them. Lakewood's parks have always been places where imagination lives. Today, we are celebrating that legacy, one rocket ship, one pumpkin carriage, and yes, one very hot metal slide at a time. That legacy lives on in our ongoing commitment to parks, facilities, and infrastructure. In 2025, we moved forward on a $60 million capital improvement plan with projects improving facilities, parks, streets, and public spaces throughout our city. We have dedicated $15 million to roof, electrical, and HVAC improvements to 9 city facilities. These are the less visible investments, the ones residents rarely notice until something goes wrong. They matter, and we are committed to getting them right. We have also embarked on nearly $20 million worth of street repair and resurfacing project that will bring safe, smooth driving conditions to almost 19 miles of city streets. This is part of Lakewood's longstanding commitment to balance investment in infrastructure, public safety, and recreation, the kind of steady stewardship that sets us apart. None of this would be possible without the funds generated through Measure L, the local sales tax measure adopted by Lakewood voters in 2020. Thanks to the foresight of our community, we have a secure, locally controlled source of funding to preserve neighborhood quality of life and keep our community facilities current for every generation. The City Council does not take lightly the trust our community placed in the city when they passed Measure L. We are committed to spending those funds responsibly, transparently, and with the utmost care. 2026 will bring new challenges and new achievements. The spirit of cooperation that has been Lakewood's greatest strength for nearly 75 years is alive in this room, in our parks, on our streets, and in the hearts of the people who make this city what it is. We began this year with a theme, Lakewood Together, a year of kindness, care, and civic action. What we have seen in 2025 and what we are building toward in 2026 shows us that this is more than a theme. It is who we are. The best of Lakewood is not behind us. It is being built right now by all of us together. We made a promise to this community, safety, comfort, and a place where everyone truly belongs. Our work, our joy, and our honor is to make sure that promise is wide enough to hold every single person who calls this city home. That is the Lakewood we are building. Thank you. I will now turn things over to our city manager, Thaddeus McCormick.
Thank you, Mayor Chase, and it's always daunting going after your boss, but what an incredible job. Let's give her another round of applause. The mayor did a great job of highlighting some of the great things that happened in 2025, as well as some of our aspirations for 2026. Aldo and I here really to talk about a little bit about the context of how that all happened and hopefully how we emulate that in 2026. And I think of the video as being a really good example of this merger of outcomes and highlights with that context, the context of the hard work that's done every day, like people like Jackie and Jason that you got a little bit of a peek at. And so let's give all those hardworking unsung heroes a big round of applause as well. And you know, for giving out rounds of applause, our good folks back there with City TV who help with the video, but also today's production. So thank you again, Mayor Chase, and I share with your emphasis on the bonds that connect Lakewood residents, the City Council staff, and the agencies and contractors who provide the services that underpin Lakewood's quality of life. Lakewood is a special place. And it's not that we're special people per se, as much as the values that bind us together help us do special things. Whether it's the innovation of the Lakewood Plan that propelled Lakewood forward as the first contract city back in 1954, paving the way for scores of other cities who incorporated in subsequent decades in adopting that unique model of government that serves us so well today, or the legacy of municipal excellence carried out through many years of leadership from my predecessor and the city councils he served, to the dedicated men and women who patrol our neighborhoods today, trim our trees, fill our potholes, keep city facilities in repair, write reports, and do all the things that are important to make Lakewood the city that it is. Mayor Chase, you spoke of teamwork and cooperation. I can tell you that I'm honored to really work with such an incredibly dedicated group of individuals up and down the organization, and humbled to call them colleagues. These are the people who embody the values that make up the Lakewood Way. So let me talk a little bit about the economy in the context of last year and where we see it going. You know, I'm not an economist by any means, but my job, as maybe some of yours, requires me to kind of dabble or delve into that realm from time to time. Now, even in the most stable of times, I think forecasting the economy is probably more art than science, but over the last few months, and in particular last few weeks, it's less kind of art and more like tarot reading cards, reading tarot cards. But all that said, despite really some mixed messages, it's kind of an understatement in the economy, no shortage of international concerns, our city really is standing on pretty firm, solid economic ground. certainly compared to some of our fellow municipalities. So, normally we look at a variety of economic forecasts and compare them what we're seeing at the local level to better understand what the economic lay of the land is for us in the upcoming fiscal year. But certainly what's happening in Iran as we speak today and the potential impacts to global oil markets, there's plenty of reason for pause. But that said, this topsy-turvy dynamic really is something we've seen since day one of the Trump administration. And that's not a political statement as much as really just an objective assessment of the cycle of uncertainty, good, bad, and kind of otherwise that the policies that have been brought forward since day one have brought forward. So as we look at the economic forecast right now, they all come with a huge caveat, of course, but whatever happens, even in a worst case scenario, to be sure, Lakewood will be prepared. Our financial and operating budgets policies provide us with a framework for maintaining and improving our financial position, which we've always done, but in particular over the last few years since the community entrusted us with the valuable Measure L sales tax measures. The council has committed really to making that tax a generational tax and directed staff to develop a 20-year forecasting and financing plan that has seen us put away significant amounts every year over and above what are already robust rainy day reserves. And as those reserves have grown, in particular over the last couple of years, our interest earnings on those during the past couple of years have increased, and that may be one of the only positive things about a high interest rate environment. So, with an eye always on the long term, we still look to the past year as a guide for where we might be headed. And what we saw through 2025, by and large, was working through that uncertainty and then flattening out as the actual policies settled. And we certainly saw that with the tariffs. Obviously, there were impacts regionally around us because of the ports and manufacturing, logistics being so important to this region. And we did see a flattening of our sales tax due to consumers and retailers kind of sorting through all of those issues. But ultimately, as we entered into 2026, it was with a fairly resilient U.S. economy. And how much chaos is too much? How much stress can global markets take? Will the dam break? Those are the big questions, obviously. But as we sit here or stand here at 1:05, March 17th, after all of the chaos with tariffs, Greenland, Venezuela, Iran, the Straits of Hormuz, all of that, we're really not too far off what was projected. And in fact, in some ways, maybe a little bit better with GDP growth slightly on the rise. And so we'll see how things play out in the next few weeks, next few days. But all of last year, we've been going one step at a time with an eye towards working through that chaos and uncertainty. So if I were talking to you last month or maybe even a few weeks ago, I'd point to inflation lowering close to the Fed target rate, unemployment rates trending a little bit higher, but still in the realm of full employment, and again, strong consumer and business spending, all auguring towards fairly modest growth. And even today, in the midst of the war, the incursion, excursion, whatever we're calling it, the read of economists is that those inflation and employment trends are still moving in a positive direction. And so the U.S. Third quarter real gross domestic product GDP showed the economy grew at a 4.3 annualized rate, and that was the fastest in the previous 2 years. Our sales tax did flatten in that third quarter, but anecdotally, at least, economists see the fourth quarter being a strong one. And for us, relying on retail sales, we too think that fourth quarter sales tax data will be positive for us. Now, obviously, we're all hoping and praying for a quick resolution to the situation in Iran, not the least of which because of the human toll, but those goes continued impacts on production and transport of oil obviously could have significant impacts. Time will tell, but as we enter into this next budget season, we do so again with caution, but also, they're ready to capitalize on any opportunities that come our way. So that's a little bit about the economy. Shifting gears, Mayor Chase talked about some of the exciting and innovative things we're doing on the public safety front. I do want to talk how those things are making a tremendous positive impact in our community. And, we talk about the state of the city, and oftentimes we do look to economic indicators, but really the truest barometer I've always felt of how a city is doing is how safe it feels. And it's the peace of mind you have when you tuck your children in bed at night and you wake up and go to work in the morning. And I'm pleased to report that Lakewood is feeling safe, certainly safer than it has in the last few years. And there are data to back that up. So the data tell a really compelling story. Our Part 1 crimes are approximately 20% lower, and our arrest rates are up. And so that did not happen by accident. There's really kind of three main factors that we see that led to that. A shift in philosophy, not ours. We've always had a very strong philosophy in terms of public safety, but we saw a renewed focus of enforcement and accountability at the county level with a new district attorney, and that's certainly been important. Number two, boots on the ground. The tireless work of our city staff and that of our LA County Sheriff Department, Lakewood Station. Let's give them a big round of applause. Really a cornerstone in our success. And lastly, strategic investment. This is a council that has made significant financial commitment and have made that over the last few years to ensure that whatever our limitations are on the outside, we're always going to provide what we need to on the inside. So we have the resources that we need. So all in all, we're seeing that hard work and investment paying off with lower crime stats. But we know the best measure of crime is not through data, as any single victim of a crime can tell you that's for that person, their own personal crime wave. And so we'll never rest on the success of yesterday. We continue to look for ways through technology and innovation to further our efforts and improve public safety here in Lakewood, and we look forward to continuing those efforts on into 2026. So now let me lastly kind of shift gears to a topic that's been near or top of the state and every city's focus really over the last few years, and that's housing. Whether you're for it or against it, it's something in between. Housing's a youth issue, and as I characterize it for or against, I do that with tongue firmly planted in cheek because we live in this polarized time where we say it's either this or that. And really, this NIMBY-YIMBY divide is really, I don't think, helpful. Housing and those issues are much more complex and nuanced. And, to be sure, Lakewood is not against housing. We're not against more housing. We certainly aren't against affordable housing. The council recognizes the challenge that we all have, young families have, in affording a home, and the council wants to create opportunities for that next generation, and we are doing that. But it has to be done in a way that respects the integrity of the quality of life of the existing neighborhoods, as well as for new residents who come into Lakewood. Lakewood is not just an accumulation of units. It's neighborhoods, it's homes, and those homes are houses where families raise their kids. And so we should never lose sight on that. That Lakewood was always a place where a hardworking family could buy a home and gain that upward mobility, what we call the American dream. And it still is that, no matter who you are, what your background is, and no matter what some people in Sacramento might say, that is Lakewood. And for us, our objection is not really so much the how, it's the one one-size-fits-all solutions that are coming down that for us are more an obstacle to progress rather than the panacea that I think they are meant to be. So we're fighting to keep local land use decision where it should be, here at the local level, at the community level. And I think it's important to point out, cities don't build housing. I think that's lost. We do have an important role in planning and zoning for housing and removing barriers, but it has to be in a way that maintains quality of life for our residents. And again, the residents, the families who come to Lakewood in the new housing that we're building deserve and expect the services that they need to achieve that American dream. So I can tell you, Lakewood, to quote the eminent philosopher Elvis Costello, who on this day was also an Irishman, Declan McManus, if anybody knows, our aim is true. Our aim is true. And, Lakewood is doing the hard work to bring our community forward through housing and the economic development that is needed to support that. So maybe I said a little bit too much, get me talking about housing, you won't stop me, so I'll hand it over to my good friend, Aldo Cervantes, who will talk about that housing and development activity.
Well, good afternoon. And thank you, Thaddeus. I couldn't have said it better myself on the housing front. So we do have a few projects, as Thaddeus mentioned, moving forward in the department with respect to housing projects of various types. First of all, the 20707 Pioneer Boulevard, also known as the Madera Project. This is a partnership with Brandywine Residential, Brandywine Homes. This is a project of 45 new townhomes within the city. We're looking at 9 beautiful 3-story buildings that provide ownership opportunities, which is something we know our young families are looking for. The next project is 4152 Paramount Boulevard, also known as the Ashton 3 project, is a 20-unit residential condo project. It's a great example of using our space efficiently while keeping the height to a manageable 3 stories. Also, 20723 Elaine Avenue, a much smaller project tailored around essentially a project that fits the fabric of the neighborhood. Featuring 6 new dwelling units as well as what we call accessory dwelling units, or ADUs. We're also partnering with Habitat for Humanities on a couple of housing units that are on the east side. So also felt that important to say that. The department is also working with a development company to facilitate the building of 2 new apartment buildings ranging from 200 to 380 units. The project has not been submitted to the city, so I cannot expose the location yet, but we do hope that we receive these applications within the next 2 weeks or so. With respect to economic development and the initiatives that we're facing in the next couple of years, since last January, the department has made significant strides towards building really an economic development division within the department. Soon after the start of the fiscal year, the department onboarded new consulting firms, one specifically known as TRB Plus and Associates. This firm was onboarded to help us with our daily building and safety services. Parallel to this, we launched a new permitting software known as OpenGov Permitting and Licensing, as well as onboarding a Solar App Plus system. The goal of these major shifts in our services was to create an efficient and transparent process for our customers. In all, we created a one-stop shop for all building and safety matters. Given that the department already included an OpenGov system for the planning department or planning division, including the permitting software along with that system allowed for an improved coordination and communication with the 2 divisions that really oversee and manage day-to-day development opportunities or construction opportunities within the city. With our current systems in place, we are now able to manage any project in a more streamlined approach, which benefits the businesses and development industry. As far as our level of services, with TRB Plus and Associates and all the new programs implemented by the department, we are now able to turn around new plans within 7 to 14 days, rather than what was previously a 6 to 8 week turnaround for our customers. And so as a result of that new system in place, we are able to issue permits more swiftly, which in turn allow for a construction activity to take place much faster and also get new businesses into our units or tenant spaces. We also launched what we call the new business questionnaire or business license questionnaire. This system or this questionnaire allows for tenants that are looking at occupying a space or a vacant space within our city to really vet out the space when it comes to zoning requirements. This allows for the tenant to sort of look at any requirements that are in place before they sign a lease or even before they submit a business license application to the administrative department. We also introduced the architectural review services, or what we call ARS. This is a system which allows developers to, or give the opportunity for submitting preliminary drawings to the city. And in return, the developer receives feedback from all departments, really for the primary focus of creating a better design for the city of Lakewood. Most importantly, it does streamline the entire process with this ARS system in a manner where really the primary goal is to get these projects done in a very efficient and swift manner, really with the primary focus of allowing the developer to start building and to start leasing their commercial spaces. Also, to make an important statement, we are on the cusp of adoption of our very first economic strategic plan with our partners at Sunstone, who are in the audience today. So that's going to be a very important tool for us to use as we look for direction from an economic development standpoint moving forward. Lastly, we introduced what we call a notable developments page on our website. This is really to highlight the development that's happening now in the city. The intent of this page is really to create a sense of buzz or excitement in the community, to offer a sense of transparency, and really to identify the development patterns within the city of Lakewood. And so with respect to mall news, with my partners sitting right in front of me from Pacific Retail, a majority of the master planning with respect to the works at the Lakewood Center are still really in sort of flourishing and are very fluid. But I will say that the initial conversation so far, and really what's been put out in public, is there is likely scenario of housing opportunities on the Lakewood Center, ranging between 300 and 1,000 new housing units on the site. In addition to the housing projects, the mall will experience revitalization and redevelopment to align with modern retail, experiences, entertainment, gathering spaces, and pedestrian and vehicle-friendly circulation. The City Council this past year adopted parking standards, clearing the deck for a master planning / visioning process that will likely include the elements that we've all seen at other retail centers, including that of the Brea Mall, where there are housing, open space, event spaces, and circulation and pedestrian-friendly improvements. Of course, this is big news for the city. Pacific Retail purchased the property last summer, and we're excited about this new partnership. Pacific Retail has demonstrated a real commitment to giving Lakewood Center the attention that it deserves and needs, and creating a space our community is excited to have. With respect to the Chamber of Commerce, most of you have heard the unfortunate news of the demise of our Greater Lakewood Chamber of Commerce. We thank them for their 70 years of support to our business community, but we do want to reiterate that the city remains committed to our support of our Lakewood businesses and our business community. In the coming year, the city will highlight Lakewood businesses and are already beginning outreach to learn about all the public servicing businesses to share with the community, including through a special online map so that we can discover more of Lakewood has to offer. We will be working on an upcoming newsletter as well for businesses that will include tips and resources for small business opportunities. And so in closing, while I've only been with the City of Lakewood for only a year, I see incredible potential for businesses and economic growth in the city. I look forward to helping drive new initiatives to achieve our goals and creating the opportunities for homeownership, entrepreneurship, and developers to find their place in this special community. And so I thank you.
Thank you, Aldo, and thank you, Thaddeus. And thanks to all of you for attending the 2026 State of Our City. 2025 is behind us. Ahead are the tasks, an even busier year ahead. The members of the City Council value working with you together, and as we do all that we can to keep Lakewood a great place to live, work, and visit, now and into the future. Thank you. One more line. Almost there. I would like to now, well, I guess thank you. Okay, we can have the applause. Okay, thank you. And then I would like to now welcome Valerie Frost back up to the stage for our closing. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you again, City Manager McCormack, Director Cervantes, and our Mayor, Cassandra Chase. We're appreciative of their insight for the year ahead, and thank you all for spending lunch with us today. So on behalf of the Rotary Club of Lakewood, thank you again for investing your time and your effort in our city. We hope you have a wonderful day.